365 Radio. Our weekly segment with Baylor Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades is brought to you by Edward Jones Investments Brokers, Tom Albers, Brad Wilson, Ben Erlinson, and Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Baylor Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades with us, Paul Catalina, Craig Smoke, and David Smoke. Sic'Em 365 Radio, 365 Sports. Mack, it's the opening week, your first home game, Albany. We had Greg Gattuso on the show, the head coach at Albany, and they're coming in, of course, a day early. Does the opening week for an AD, is it anything similar emotionally, you think, than an opening week for a head football coach?
It's a good question. Well, since Dave's got so much emotion, I'm not sure how to answer that. It's an exciting time, I think, for a couple of reasons, right? One, at least for me personally, I love college football. Absolutely love this time of year, and so I'm just excited for it to begin. And obviously we had week 0, which I'm not sure why we just don't call week 1. And this was really week 2. But watched those games. And so it's exciting to begin this process. And then, for us, the opportunity to go out and, brand new year and so to speak, prove that we're a viable national program again, a program of consistency. And then just to see, the fans and Baylor, all the Baylor family back together again. So, I don't know that it's similar, but there's absolutely some emotion. There's more pep in the step. There's a buzz in the hallway. So life's good, and can't wait for Saturday.
Mack, of any year in your tenure, at least football wise, going in, you enter this year knowing that all the things that you wanted to achieve are possible, and where it is. Can you be in a New Year's Six bowl game win? Absolutely. Can you win the conference? Can you navigate that schedule? How does it feel knowing that you're trying to repeat that as opposed to wondering, what the dominoes are to fall that had to make that happen?
Yeah, I would say uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable, right? Because you want to make sure, and you can only control what you can control, but that we have the right mindset throughout, and we're not banking on the experts. We're not, believing what we read, right? Nothing is given, in this world. And, certainly in college football, nothing, despite the preseason pick to win the conference, despite being ranked 10th in the country, none of that is given. And we're going to have to go out and earn it. And it's going to require, a lot of hard work and effort and unity and selflessness. And, we've got areas on the team that are talented, but not proven. So yeah, it's an uncomfortable, spot to be in. But I think it's also one that, and I don't know if this makes sense. It's also one that, I think I absolutely embrace, and it's exciting that we have this opportunity, and people think highly of us, and that we have this chance to again compete and be one of the best in the country. So I'm really looking forward to that journey this season.
Mac, things change quite often in sports. I mean, ideally, you could have your favorite coaching staff and favorite team and favorite players. They all stay together forever. But the one thing about college is it's always changing. And so it makes for to me, a special season on paper, not only because of the players coming back and the expectations of all that, but also the coaching staff as well, to be able to pretty much hold that all together. Yes, there were a couple of changes, but for the most part, I mean, what seems like to be a really special group of coaches. How much of that do you think drives the bus as well with the program and its success?
Yeah, I think, Craig, this consistency of staff, I think, is critical. There's only maybe one program out there that has competed at a national championship level, that's won at a national championship level, and we'll have some turnover once every 3 years, but you look at those that compete at the highest level, there's consistency amongst the staff. And if we're gonna lose a staff member, we don't lose them because they're it's a promotion, so to speak. But Coach Aranda, he has created a great culture and environment to be a part of when you're thinking about just working in an organization. I think just like he talks about person over player, I think we could equally say person over coach. And so it's a great culture, great environment, and I think it's really important, Craig. I think it drives us and gives us an opportunity to be, or have a chance to be really good this year when you have that consistency with your coordinators and your most of your other staff. So. And particularly when they're really good, and hats off to Coach Aranda and hats off to our athletic department. There were some people that came in, when you think about top 5 programs in the country, the way it finished last year, or the top. I mean, there were some programs that came after our assistant coaches, and they decided to stay here. And, we've talked about it. You've heard me say, we're step by step. It's a process, little by little. This is turning into, and we will turn it into a destination place. And so I think you saw a little bit of it during the off season.
Mac, how much of building that destination is the fact that you have a coach, and not that he doesn't, because all coaches have a little bit of coach speak in them. That's what makes them coaches. But someone who is so almost devoid of it. When you ask him questions, it's not, we're going to play Baylor Bear football, we're just going to do what we do. I mean, he genuinely answers questions to people, and if he does that to the media, he does that to the players, and people can feel just the genuine nature of how he addresses things, as opposed to a walking cliche.
Yeah, I think it's really important, Paul, and I think that speaks to the environment, to the culture, that he creates within the football program amongst the coaches and the staff, and they know that he's genuine. They know that he leads. More by action, probably less by words, although, he's become extremely comfortable in terms of words and articulating and communicating standard and holding people accountable for that. But yeah, absolutely. I think that, when you are a young coach, I think, Baylor is one of those places. Dave Aranda is one of those head coaches that, hey, I want to go coach with him, for him. I want to be part of that program.
Mac, this is from Jay on our chat room, and I think you've answered this before, but I will ask it again in a way. With all the success you've built in athletics, across athletics, building quality individuals for the workforce, how is Baylor marketing itself for future change in the college landscape? Is it all just the almighty dollar, or is there anything else you can do to prove you deserve a seat at the table?
Interesting question, and I'll try to answer it. I think there's some. Well, let me state this. It's obviously, we know it's a challenging time. It's an interesting time. It's chaos, right? I think one of the first questions you ask yourselves, or we ask ourselves, I should say, is, can we still be relevant? Can we still be nationally relevant? All of our sport programs competing at the highest level and be unique? Or are we going to have to maybe compromise some of that uniqueness and be like others? For example, in the name, image, and likeness game, right? And so I think it's just quite frankly, it's a question I ask myself, when I'm in thought, all the time. And how do you balance it? One of the reasons why we've been so successful is because we've been unique and we've done things differently. Now, that doesn't mean that we can stay still and we can stop evolving. If we stop evolving, it won't be very long before we're not relevant. So I think, what we're continuing to try to do is to evolve. And, when you think about our next 5 years, like, we have our plans in place. When we think about our strategic initiatives and everything that we have to do, and it is a lot, right? Things don't happen. I'm a big believer. Things do not happen without a plan. And we have a strategic plan for the next 5 years. And you can have a plan, but you better execute it at a high level, right? At this elite standard. You better hold people accountable to doing that. And we have that, and so we're going to continue to evolve. I still think that we're not going to compromise our uniqueness, but that doesn't mean we're gonna stay the same. And I think that the name, image, and likeness piece is, right now we're not doing it exactly like everybody else is, but we're still doing it, and we're doing it in a way that we believe is consistent with our beliefs. And we probably won't be doing name, image, and likeness 6 months from now, 12 months from now, like we're doing it today. And so we'll continue to evolve. And I think bottom line is, we're going to, do what we need to do in terms of our unique own way, so that we can be really resourceful. And when we think about remaining and have necessary resources, so that we can remain, nationally relevant. And I feel really, really good about that.
Mack Rhoades, Baylor's Director of Athletics, with us. Sic'Em 365 Radio, 365 Sports. Greg?
Mack, how was the visit with Brett Yormark in Waco?
I thought it was terrific. I think if you asked him, he would absolutely reiterate and say the same. And he as I'd mentioned, there was a template in terms of the people that he wanted to meet and visit with, and pretty consistent amongst the institutions, but went well. I think he walked away knowing and understanding why Baylor is special, and it's tying back into the last question, and I think I think Brett felt this. We talk about selling people, right, rather than selling facilities. And we just had this conversation this morning in executive team. We're going to have this beautiful pavilion that is going to come online, and this unbelievable basketball arena and men's and women's basketball development center and the football development center. And, I think, it will be very easy for all of us, right? This natural transition to when we recruit, look at the facilities, look how beautiful they are, state of the art, unreal, right? And they will be. But if we do that instead of first selling our people, then we will become like everybody else. And so we really have to be intentional about that. And I think that Brett Yormark walked away, feeling that, man, there's some really, really good people.
Did he leave you a packet with the new anything realignment agreement, anything like that?
Yeah, he a confidential roadmap, so to speak. But look, it's obviously with football beginning, that's probably been more about football and less about conference realignment. The Big 12, we're going to remain aggressive, and there'll be some things that certainly indicate that. I think here in the future, and that's not adding teams, but we're remaining aggressive, and I don't think change is complete yet. I think as we talked about, timeline is really, really hard to predict. But again, I love where we're at as a conference, and I'm really grateful for where we're at as an athletic department.
You said being aggressive but not adding teams. You're not saying that there may not be that down the road?
Oh, I'm not saying that there won't be, but I'm just saying that, there'll be some indications of us, being aggressive here in the near future.
Okay.
You'll see different things. And I didn't want to leave it there, and people now all of a sudden think, hey, they must be. That makes sense?
Yeah, we missed the last part. Would you mind, Mack, if you repeat the last sentence or two?
No, what I was trying to explain is, look, we're going to remain aggressive, and there's going to be some things that you're going to see here from the conference office that will indicate, some change and being more aggressive. But, not that is not necessarily going to come in the way of adding teams. I just didn't want to say that. Everybody all of a sudden now step to, well, hey, they're adding teams, and I'm not saying that we won't. All of that's still in play, and again, we're going to continue to be aggressive.
Does that secret roadmap he left you like National Treasure, where you have to need special glasses to read it?
Yeah, or a different language.
Yeah.
So.
Mack, I did want to ask you about a couple other sports that have started now at this point. Michelle Leonard, your soccer coach, got her first win. I know that, they took it on the chin after that very, very good North Carolina team, but that is already going to serve as a learning lesson, I'm sure. But getting that first win over Florida, and then your volleyball team with a massive win over number 3 Wisconsin after a tough loss to number 5 Minnesota. Just your thoughts how both those teams have started off with big wins already.
Yeah, excited for both programs, and you mentioned in Austin, beating a Florida team, a really good Florida team, an SEC team. So I thought that was a great win, and then right after that, perspective, we played number 1 North Carolina, and they beat us up pretty good. And I wasn't there. Cody Hall was there, but just listened to the post game after both, and Michelle, Coach Leonard was terrific, and a great, that's a great 2-game stretch where I think our program really has the opportunity to grow from as we continue and get ready to play. I think Houston on Thursday and Iowa, Sunday here at home, and then volleyball. That was in my opinion, a big time win. Really young team, and now all of a sudden after defeating number 3 Wisconsin in the 5 sets, we're ranked number 9, and so I think they've got tough travel. I think they're headed to Malibu. That's a tough place to go, but they are. Coach McGuire does a great job. And when you think about a young team, it's also a brand new coaching staff. And so both coaches doing a wonderful job, and both teams or student athletes have been terrific.
Can you give us any details on the Joy Memorial this weekend against Albany?
I can't, and man, I failed you, and I do apologize. It's Tuesday, and it's probably something that I just haven't. I'm just not aware of the details yet. I am aware that there is a celebration of life, and I'm also aware that our football team will be wearing a sticker in support of that celebration.
Pretty cool. Albany, Albany's
cool.
Playing because they're going to get a check, because that's how the survival of some of the lower, not that they're lower ranked, but of the different levels. They've played Syracuse, they've played Pittsburgh, they've played others in the past. How critical, because you didn't have a game. La Tech wanted another home game. How critical is that, and would you pay, do they get a larger check than you would normally pay somebody else to come play you because of the situation earlier this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm thankful to Mark Benson, who's their athletic director, and the opportunity to have a game and have the home game, and I don't know that it did necessarily cost more because of the timing. Now, I think it costs more because when you think about travel and they're having to get on a plane and come here where, sometimes, the many of the other FCS programs, are potentially within the state of Texas, and they can get on a bus and get here. So different, much less expensive way of travel. So, but, I think Mark would say that, it was a fair deal, and I know that they're excited, and, I think it's a really good opportunity for both institutions.
All right. The Baylor-Gonzaga game that's going to be played up in the Dakotas. It seems like that is is that outside of your range, that there's going to be players paid? Can you explain what's the relationship with that game against Gonzaga, which of course a lot of people will want to watch? It's a great game, a rematch of a championship. What is the actual story of that?
Yeah, so that's not anything that we can be involved in. Complete Sports Management and Rage Sports are really the organizers, the promoters of the game, and so they're currently working on a TV partner to be determined, and then they'll orchestrate name, image, and likeness compensation for student athletes that participate in tune into the game promotions. That's how student athletes would earn any name, image, and likeness money, using their name, image, and likeness to promote the game. And so I think there's at this point in time, there's, that game is December 2nd. I think there's still some additional details and what all of that looks like, but I think it's probably, first step is get the TV partner, and then I think some other things will come to fruition. So that's what I can tell you.
Mack, thank you very much for your time. We'll see you Saturday. Baylor opens up with Albany 6 o'clock to open up the 2022 season. As he mentioned, top-ranked team. Chris, I'll get to the